should. Perfect, thank you very much. So we will also record the meeting in case you want to rewatch it. We will send you the link, or you'll get the link. And so you will be able to revisit the meeting and watch it again if you want. So we will have a welcome and introduction. Then, as I said, we will talk about the student life hacks, then a little bit about DEGIS, which is the organization that me and Caro is working for, and it's organizing these kind of things. And at the end, we have a Q&A session where you can ask your questions in case you have any about the topic today or in general. So who is with you? For the people who are here last week, it's the same two people. One of them is me. I'm Errol. I'm half Turkish, half German. I was born actually in Germany, then went to Turkey, go there to school, came back to study here in Germany. I'm here in DEGIS, responsible for the events and projects network. And joining and supporting me today is Caro.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Carolina, but you can all call me Caro. I come from Brazil. I moved to Germany in 2020 for my master's in public administration, and I just finished it. And I'm responsible for running marketing and community in DEGIS right now. Very glad to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you, Caro. So that is about us. And before we get to know more about you, you can easily rename yourself so we can see from where you are, and also other people can see from where you are. So as you know, if you go on your own picture on the top, there you will find these 3 points, and you click there, then you can rename yourself, and you can make it like the country where you're from, underscore your name, underscore the city in which you're studying or will you study, in case you haven't arrived in Germany yet. So you can already see other people from your city maybe, and can get in touch with them if you want to socialize already. And with that said, we also want you to answer a couple of questions to get you know better. And for that, you have to use your smartphone and scan this code. Or if you don't have a smartphone, you can also go to slido.com and type in these numbers 595-626, and then the questions will also pop up for you. And I think you all had time. The QR code will stay here, and the first question would be, from which country are you? That's always interesting, from where people are coming to Germany to study. Let's see if this works. Okay, somebody typed the number. No, Brazil, India. If you see the question already, you don't have to type the number again. You can already answer the question. We have many people from India. Once the word gets bigger, it means more people are from that country, people from Brazil. If Caro hasn't written that, then we have also other people from Brazil here in the call today. Taiwan is here. Show that we have also people from other countries. Egypt is here, nice.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Malak.
Hello. Could you please send this website in chat? I'm from my smartphone and cannot use this QR scan.
Okay, I will type it in the chat. Slido. If you go on the website, you'll be able, they will ask you for this number here, and then you can type this number in, and then you will also have access to the question.
Okay,
we have
thanks.
also Nigeria based in Turkey. That's nice. Connected to Turkey at least. Happy about that. Vietnam is here. Cool. So a lot of people from a lot of different countries. So then I will switch to the next question. And now it's about Germany. For those who haven't changed your name, in which city will you study, or are you already studying in Germany? Constance? Am Bodensee, that's nice. Hannover, another beautiful city. Couple of people from Berlin, that's nice. You're in the same city as we are. Leipzig, it's also a nice student city. Darmstadt, Frankfurt-Oder, it's also close here. Tübingen, Kiel, Köln, Bayreuth, Wuppertal, couple of people from Tübingen, Straubing by Munich. That's cool. So from a lot of different parts of Germany, but Tübingen and Berlin are the leading ones. That is nice. Two really nice, one big city and one small but big university city. Also close to the city where I've born. So I've also visited Tübingen a couple of times. Really, really nice. And with that said, I will come to the final question. I'm going to ask you about what are you studying or what you will study here in Germany. There are always interesting things coming up, things that I personally don't know or even existing. Master in physics, history, material science. Cool. So we have like social backgrounds and also engineering backgrounds, astrophysics, digital entrepreneurship. That sounds interesting. Masters in management. So we have business people here, astrophysics, data science, mechatronics, biotechnology, chemical master. Interesting things. Master in quantitative engineering, I guess, linguistic, business, optical technology. Nice. So a really mixed background, a lot of different things. And so far, nobody who is studying the same thing. Master in data analytics and marketing, I guess. Cool. So thank you very much for sharing. It's always interesting to know what people are doing, what are they studying. A lot of exciting things here, which will be really nice to see you successfully mastering your studies. And we have today a couple of tricks on how you maybe can do that with a couple of cool tricks. So with that said, I will come to today's topic, which is student life hacks, things that will help students on their social life or in their university life to overcome the challenges and maybe difficulties that they will face. And from our perspective, we split this into two. So there are things on the side of how to ace your studies, how to be successful in your studies, and on the other side, on how to enjoy your life here in Germany more, how to maybe save money, how to have fun, interact with new people. So these are the kind of things that we will speak today. And I will start with the study parts on how to hack or ace your studies. So the first point that I'm going to begin with is the planning of your semester, because that's once you plan the things right, it most of the times went out nicely and you're overcome them successfully if you bring structure into your work. So I think that's one of the key parts that every person should do. It sounds really simple, and yet many people don't do it. I for a long time didn't do this kind of stuff. So use like the many apps that are out there. You can use Google Calendar or the Google Agenda or Apple Calendar to like set up your classes, plan free time for yourself, plan study time for yourself, and get a structure in your week. So the things won't end up at the end of the semester where you haven't done enough and now you're studying so much and you don't get the stuff ready. So it's always good and smart to plan your semester in advance so you don't have to hurry in the end. And that's something that I would recommend to all of you. So if you aren't doing it so far, do it in that way. I think the apps are the smartest ways. I don't know if you can see it, but I have also a planner here on my, now you can see it, a paper planner for the agenda, but I think apps are more useful for the planning of your schedule. Then another point that is especially here in Germany really, really beneficial is forming or joining study groups. Sometimes in lectures you have to create groups and join them, but it's also smart to join them if there are no group projects or stuff like that, but just it sometimes can be easier to learn with other students than learning by yourself. It's not only that you learn better, but you can also see different points, get different views, and sometimes you just understand things if other student tells it and not the prof, because they can sometimes explain it in a simpler and better way rather than the complex way that the teachers are using many times. And it's also a great way to socialize and get to know new people, and also people with different cultures. So I would definitely recommend that. You can do like stay in the after the classes and go over the stuff that you learned and do it together. I think that's something that you should consider doing, and it will be definitely helpful for you. And another thing that you can do, which goes in the same direction, is forming, or more rather joining, student groups. As you know, many universities have different kind of student groups for different kind of backgrounds and focuses. So if there are things that interest you personally, you should be definitely consider joining these kind of groups. Some things that I know, back in Munich, there was like this group which was building these capsules for Elon Musk's project, where he plans to send people through these tunnels. And there was like all winning like 2 years in a row this event, and also like these groups where they build like racing cars and race. So there's a lot of different things depending on your interests that you can join. And also, again, this is a great way to learn new people in your social life, especially like in the last terms. It was really difficult with Corona to find new contacts, and these kind of things are definitely a great way to learn new people. And you can also develop your own skills inside these kind of clubs, and it will also be beneficial for your CV. So it will be something that I would be recommending for you to do. Another thing that can depend on the size of your classrooms, obviously, is engaging yourself inside the classrooms. Not only wait till the prof or the lecturer asks you something, but be proactive and bring on your own opinion in the lecture, because that's something, especially like here in Germany, is really valued. And especially if you get in the classes also a note on your participation, which can be case in many classes, then this is a great way to get some easy points. And it's also a great way to get in the eyes of the prof, especially in the future. If you want to write a thesis in their chair, it's a great way to get in touch or get a step in front of the other people. So I would also recommend you to do that. And as I said, it can benefit you. And another really important thing that you have to care about, especially here in Germany, not only in Germany, generally everywhere, is being careful about plagiarism. That's something that, especially on the academic level, people here in Germany are really, really careful about. So especially when you're writing your thesis, but also on assignments, always be sure to don't like steal ideas, but do it in a right way, the referencing and stuff like that, because that's a really important part and can be easily backfire, because now there are like a lot of tools that the universities and profs are using to find out if you're using plagiarism or not. And even if it's a mistake on your side, if you forget it, it can lead to difficulties and struggles on your end. So I would be really careful when you're doing this kind of stuff. And there are a lot of softwares which can help you with this, and I will talk about them on the next slide, which you can use for this kind of things and which will help you on writing assignments or your thesis at the end of the day. So as I said, there are a lot of digital tools that I can recommend you and which can help you in a lot of different ways. And here I put a lot of them together, which I use in my personal life, or we use in our personal life, and which we could recommend you during your studies. So on one, you will probably need to convert documents, and like I love PDF is a great tool to do so, because at the end of the day, I think most universities want their documents as a PDF, and sometimes it's difficult to get it in that format. So that's a website which can definitely helps you. Then, especially if you're working as a group, like the Google Docs or Microsoft Office will be the tools that you're probably using mainly. And as a student in Germany, I think nearly every university have an agreement with Microsoft. So you can get this for free with your student ID. You have to check out your university's site. There's mostly a site about the tools that the university offers you. In some cases, they also give you like a Zoom license for free, but I think mostly they are offering Microsoft Office. So if you don't have it, if you don't have a free license, you can get it via your university and use it for free as long as you're studying. Then here, as we talked already, for referencing, there's Google Scholar. Then Citavi is a program that I can recommend you. I also get it from my university. It makes your work really, really easy because like this, paraphrasing is definitely something that's not really easy. And if you have a tool that does it for you automatically, that will help you definitely. And like EndNote, Mendeley, RefWorks, or Zotero are different kind of apps that will help you on this end for your, especially for your writing. Then when you're learning for exams and need flashcards, like Anki is a useful app that you can use. And if you're, depending if you're a person that learns better with like physical stuff, then you can also go with the old school way and write down the stuff and learn by that. But if you're digital affine and want to use an app, that's one that I can recommend you. And then again, translation, I think here in Germany, in many occasions, you will need a translator, especially depending on your German level. So the most common one is actually Google Translate, and it's also actually pretty good at this point. So especially if you're translating German to English, it's like really, really good. And also another app that you can use on this end is DeepL. And for the productivity, Cold Turkey and Pomodoro are apps which can help you on that. And yeah, just check the chat, and yeah, a couple of people are also using a couple of this stuff. So if you have also ideas, feel free to use the chat. Maybe there are some cool apps that we don't know about and which you would recommend other people. So feel free to use the chat and put them in there. And for self-organization, as I mentioned before, My Student Life is one that you can use, or you can use again Google Calendar or Apple Calendar to bring more structure into your daily life. And as I said, structure is a big and important point on getting your stuff working. Notion is good for organization, says Caro. Yeah, I think I haven't used that one, but could be useful. So these are the tools that we would recommend you. Case, yeah, person is also using Notion, so it seems to be also good for the organization of tasks. Now we come to the second and more fun part, which is hacks to having a good time in Germany. That's, I think, not difficult here in Germany to have a good time, but there are still a couple of things that we are going to recommend to you in case you need to use them. And one thing that is really nice here, especially if you're into cultural activities, is getting a special prize as a student. So here in Germany, people really love to go to cultural events, and they're also pretty more expensive. Like if I compare it to Turkey, here in Germany, you pay definitely more for cultural activities. But the good side is, as long as you're a student, you will definitely get these kind of events, the tickets for these kind of events, cheaper. That can be like for theaters or also in the cinemas. Always tell them that you're a student, and ask them if there's a student discount. In most of the cases, you will get a discount. The same thing goes for concerts and museums. There again, you also have benefits as a student, but you can also check like each city or each state has their special things. Like I know in Munich, on every Sunday, the entry to the museums for just €1. So that was obviously not just for students, but for everybody. And I think also the other cities have similar things like that, where you can like save a lot of money if you want to go to cultural activities. So I will recommend you to check the things out. And Caro says if you're an art student, you might get even free entrance. Depends. And yeah, in Berlin, every first Sunday you can enter museums for free. So yeah, every city has like similar things happening, but you have to research like what's the rule in your city or state. But I think every city has some day like that where you can enter for cheap prices or even for free. Then I think, which is a thing that I enjoy really much, getting discount on brands and services. So that's again a benefit of being a student from the many big platforms like Amazon Prime, Spotify, Downdog, phone contracts and stuff like that. You'll get a discount as a student. So in some cases, you have to verify that you're a student, and that's pretty easy by uploading your immatriculation document or like sign in with your student email address. You easily get these discounts. Like on the phone contracts, it's actually, if you're younger than 27, you actually get lower prices, especially with the big companies like Telecom, Vodafone, or O2. So always check if there are any benefits for young people. And it's because you can save a lot of money, especially if you think about the phone contracts. If you even save just 5 or 10 euros each month, that makes a huge difference at the end. Then other things that I can recommend you is getting this ISEC International Student Card, depending on what the regulation is in your city. Sometimes you get it from the Studentenwerk, sometimes from the university itself, sometimes even from the AStA. But that helps you. That helps you not only in Germany. In Germany, you have your student ID, but especially if you're traveling a lot, then you can get the benefits of being a student also abroad and get like their cheaper prices in some occasions. And what I can recommend you, especially if you're shopping a lot, there are 2 sites like My Uni Days and Student Beams, where you can also log in with your student ID, and then there are a bunch of brands which you can get free discount codes. Like all the big clothing brands are there, like Adidas, Nike, even if it's like 10 or 20%. Check them out, because again, if you can save money, why not? And everybody needs to buy a couple of stuff at some point. So I would definitely recommend you to do that. Then the next thing, which is also nice if you have the time and the money, is traveling. And also here, you can save a little bit of money. So one thing would be traveling with low-cost companies, like Ryanair is generally cheaper, but they also sometimes offer cheaper prices for students. Also, what you can do if you travel within Germany is buying a Bahn card. Here again, you will get a discount. If you're under 27, then you get the Bahn cards for the half price, especially like the Bahn card 25, which gives you 25% discount on each ticket. I think it only costs like 25 euros or something. So if you travel like 3 to 4 times, you have already the savings will already surpass the cost of the Bahn card itself. So that's definitely something that I will recommend you if you have the time to travel. And also something that many people don't know, when you go on the site of the Deutsche Bahn, there's a special section called Sparpreisfinder, which says like cheaper prices. And then if you put in your destination there, it will automatically show you the cheapest connections for trains, especially if you're traveling like on really frequently used routes like Munich, Berlin, or Munich, Hamburg. It's sometimes could be beneficial to look for cheaper prices. Then you may have to travel out not so really common times, but it can make a huge difference on the cost of the ticket at the end. Cool. Another thing where you can save not instantly money, but overall, if you do it, you can save, I think, not a small bunch of money, and that's by shopping at the discounter grocery stores like Aldi, Lidl, and Netto are overall a bit cheaper than like the big companies like Kaufland, Edeka, Real. So even if you if you don't get like a huge discount at the first shopping, if you always shop at this place, I think overall it can make a huge difference at the end. And the quality of these discounters are mostly as good, even if not better than like the big companies. So you don't have to think just because you're going to a discounter that the goods that you're getting are not as good as like from the bigger shopping malls. So don't hesitate. I personally have a Lidl like very 5 minutes away from my place, and I'm 90% just shopping from Lidl, and I find everything that I need in my daily life. And beyond that, there's also in Germany a huge culture on freeing things or getting things for free. For that, you can use sites like eBay Kleinanzeigen. There will people put stuff mostly for cheap prices or even for free. If you need some furniture for your house, or also electronical things, like a friend of mine got his microwave for free. He just had to go there and pick it up. So it can be really beneficial in case you need a couple of stuff to have a site like this on your mind and check it out regularly. Also, like Facebook is a place that you can look for stuff like that. And there are also Facebook groups, especially for getting stuff for free. So that should be something that you, as a student especially, could be beneficial, because buying everything new could be a really huge cost factor. Then if you're into secondhand clothing, like the secondhand culture is also really, really big here in Germany. There's like this site called Vinted, where you can buy online secondhand clothes. And like on every German city, there are also a lot of secondhand shops which you could check out in case you're into these kind of things. And another app that I try to use really regularly, I don't know if you know it, it's Too Good To Go. There you can buy at the end of the day food from restaurants and like bag shops. You pay like 2 to 3 euros and get like mostly a really big bag of daily baked or cooked stuff. This is the stuff that the shops can't sell anymore, and it's can really save food. So you're doing sustainable thing there, and you get for a cheap price a lot of things to eat. That's something that you can check out. At the moment, I live a little bit out of Berlin, so here are not many shops that are participating in that program. But if you live somewhere more central, you can really get a lot of delicious and cheap things on that app. So feel free to check it out. And I think it's a really nice and useful app that can help you. And another point that is, I think, really important on getting out and getting new people, and that's joining activities out of the university. Like one thing could be the university sport that you can join. I think that's, you once pay a small amount of money and then can join like a bunch of different courses. But also, as I mentioned, you can join student groups if there are any in which you have interest, or also the volunteering work, which is not only a good way to get in touch with new people, but it's also really good for your CV, because many German companies really value the work that you're doing outside of the university. So I would really recommend to you that you, even if it's not much, that you do a little bit of volunteering work outside of the university, because that can be really in the future beneficial for you. And I think on the next point, I will also talk a little bit about DEGIS, which would be like one option for getting this volunteering experience and doing this outside of the university activities. So with that said, as I mentioned, I'm now going to talk a little bit about DEGIS, and then we have also going to have time for your questions. So what is DEGIS? As you know, as an international student in Germany, it's, especially at the beginning, not really easy. There are like financial struggles that you may have. You are far away from your family and friends. At the beginning, at least, you don't have a network, or like maybe know a couple of people, but it's not a huge amount of people. Then the language, depending on your German level, could be a challenge. Then employment, getting a work at the beginning, and the German bureaucracy, especially like Anmeldung and Bürgeramt, everything combined with it, it could be like, seems like difficult and complicated. And yeah, mostly you think, yeah, once when I arrive in Germany, everything will get more easy. and more simple, but sometimes you realize that's getting even more difficult than the visa itself. And then it could be like a feeling that you're facing a lot of difficulties, but there are not really anybody who supports or helps you, which I would say is not true, because there is DEGIS, and we actually do care about international students in Germany. So our mission is to support every international student in Germany to build a network, achieve their goals, and fulfill their dreams. And we are a nonprofit organization founded in 2019. We are building online and offline communities. At the moment, our offline communities are in more than 40 German cities, and we have more than 250 active members who are volunteering within the city chapters and organizing events and helping international students with all kind of things. And on the online side, we have a community with more than 15,000 online members, which are on our Facebook groups, on our newsletters, or different kind of social media platforms, and which are part and are getting informed about the work that we are doing as DEGIS. So on the offline side, where you can find us, these are is the list of the cities in which DEGIS has a city chapter. So if your city is here and you want to be part of DEGIS, you can go. I will share later a QR code with you. You can go there and sign up for being a member. In case you don't see your city and still think that DEGIS is a cool thing, you can also open a city chapter and become a president of this new city chapter, which can be also something really interesting, especially if you want to get some leadership experience and build up something from zero with this entrepreneurial mindset. Can definitely recommend it to you, and we as a national team are supporting you on this kind of thing, so you don't have to do the work by yourself. And what is DEGIS offering overall? As I said, we have an online community. We have virtual and face-to-face events like this on the national level, but also within this city chapters, there are also obviously offline events happening where you can meet new people and get information about different kind of things. Then, as I said, the city chapters in more than 40 cities, we are growing nearly weekly, so there can always be more city chapters. So check out our website frequently to see if there's a new city chapter in your city. Then we have our website, which is degis.info. There you can learn more about DEGIS, but we have also information sites about all the topics about studying in Germany. So feel free to visit that. And as I said, within these city chapters, we have a lot of different volunteering opportunities. You can gain working experience on different kind of networks like business development, marketing, events and projects, and take on different kind of roles and develop these skills within these networks. As I said, you can develop these skills there, like presenting, planning, organizing. There are a lot of different things that you can learn within DEGIS. Another thing that we offer, and I think many of you will be aware of that, is the buddy program. So as you know, we will match incoming people with local international students in Germany, in each city, so they have a person which supports them with all the challenges that incoming students in Germany face. And finally, when you're within DEGIS, it's a great way to grow your network and get in touch with new people. So that's especially in the future, also in your academic and career life, really important to have a big network, know a lot of people, and be connected with them. So that's also one of the many benefits that DEGIS offers its members. In summary, as I said in the beginning, international students face a lot of challenges, and it's always easier to overcome the challenges with support of others and don't have to overcome it by yourself. And the right network increases your level of success and also the level of fun that you have in Germany, because if you overcome the challenges faster, then you have more time for the more fun parts about your journey in Germany. And as I said, practical experiences and also volunteering experiences give you an edge in your career, especially once you're applying for jobs and people can see that you have done this kind of work in your student life already. And that's especially important for international students to get a step in front of other students or like German people here in Germany when applying for jobs. And yeah, if you're interested about us and the work that we are doing, you can scan this QR code again. It will let you to our bit.ly flow page, and there you can find all our social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, our website, and also the form on which you can apply to become an active DEGIS member. Caro has posted the link already in the chat, and there's a question. I will answer that on the final part. So yeah, the final part is actually now. So let me check. One question was, when will the buddy program matching results be announced? So we are still having applications till the end of this month. And I think after tomorrow, we will be closing the applications and also doing the matching process. So within the next week, starting from Monday, you can start expecting to hear from us if you're matched with a local buddy in your city. So I still say during next week, you will have the results if you get matched with a local buddy in your city. So pretty soon. Okay, any other questions about the buddy program, DEGIS, or student life, social life in Germany overall? Feel free to use the chat, or you can also unmute yourself and talk in case that it's easier for you. Okay, seems like there are no questions so far. Then
I would like to ask.
Oh yeah, Pavan, sure.
So actually, as an international student, I have a confusion regarding my job working hours. For example, in the visa, it was mentioned that 120 full days and 240 half days. But in general, people are saying that 20 hours per week. So what actually matters while doing the job?
Thank you for the question. So first of all, next week we will have a session more about this. Next week, in 2 weeks, we'll have a session about financing your studies. There we will talk a little bit more of this kind of specs, because we know that it's really important topic for international students. As far as I know, I think 20 hours per week is the rule. Like on holidays, I think, or when semester holidays, you can work even more hours. But I don't know, Caro, do you have there more knowledge, because this kind of stuff is a bit tricky?
As far as I know, the 20 hours per week is for working student positions. So it depends on the position you take. So for example, for internships or mini jobs, then it's the days rule. But if you take like a working student position, then it's the hours rule. Because there are different positions depending on what you're getting.
Yeah, I think that's right. And on the working student, like 20 hours a week is the maximum that you can work. There are also like positions where you can work only 10 hours. It always depends on the company with which you're working. But 20 hours per week, as Caro said, is the maximum.
Sanket wants to answer.
Yeah, feel free to jump in, Sanket.
Okay.
Yeah, hi guys. I would like to tell you that how this 20 hours and 120 full days works. It's like depends on who is the employer. If the employer is your company, then they would like to save your tax and as well as the tax they are paying to the government. And so they will stick within 20 hours per week. The 20 is like a magic number. If you are working below this number, you only have to contribute quite less of taxes. And this is beneficial for the student as well as for the company. But in other cases, if your employer is not a company, it's like a part-time job in a restaurant or something, then they offer you more than 20 hours and it is like a Aushilfe. The taxes will be more, but overall, according to the additional sheet when the visa is issued from the Landesamt. They will deduct the hours from the 240 half days or 120 full days. For practicum or internships, it depends. There's no rule. This rule doesn't apply for practicum because this is regarding to the studies. And so that time 120 days are completely omitted. Even for master thesis, even for a thesis, there is no such limit on hours because these two works, internship or thesis, are contributing to the studies. And that time these working hours or the allowed 120 days are still left free. I hope this helps.
Okay, so I'm curious, does any authority is monitoring our working details?
This is very subjective question because in Germany, whatever you do, if there's a contract, this is getting noticed by the Finanzamt, by the authorities, because here the system is very much interconnected with each other. If you're working more than your limit, even if you cross the 120 days limit, because your employer is a restaurant, for example, you're doing multiple 2-3 jobs, chances are, as long as you're paying the taxes, the government won't create a problem. But it's not good to exceed the limit because they can see that the student is going above the limit, because the Finanzamt, everyone gets this. The employer actually, he has to notify the government that this employee is working this many hours, he is paying this much taxes, and whatever the documentation. In the background, they can see, but they just don't act as long as you're paying taxes. But it's not good, it's not recommended. And this question couldn't be doesn't have a specific answer.
Okay, thank you for the information.
You're welcome.
Yeah, also from my side, thanks for sharing. In Germany, that's really can be a interesting and also a bit complicated team. I also posted a link inside the chat. Feel also free to check that out. Maybe that can help you. And as Sanket said, in cases you will get near the limit, it's better to like work 1 day less than like 1 day more. I think it's, even if you do so, it's not a huge problem, but like German authorities can be a little bit picky and annoying on that kind of issues. So I would try to stay on the safe side on that kind of issues.
Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions? Doesn't look like there are any questions, so I would then go on. And thank you all for attending to this webinar. I hope it did help you a little bit and gave you some useful insights that you'll use in the future. And for your information, if you want to know more about DEGIS, next week we are going to hold an info event about where we will mainly talk about DEGIS. I give you here today a little bit of information, but it was really limited. And the next session next week would be focused on that. So if you're interested, I would invite you all. I will also post the Eventbrite link where you can register on the chat. And there's another question from Malak. Is it hard to find a job with little knowledge of German? It totally depends on the job. So there are definitely jobs where you can work with English, especially like startups or in big international companies, sorry. There are definitely positions on which you can work with your English. But overall, like also in many jobs, a certain level of German can be needed, but mostly it's written on the job description. So you can, I think, on many platforms can filter about the language that is needed. And then you'll definitely find also some English jobs or jobs that you can do without a huge amount of German knowledge. I hope that helps you. Okay. that said, as I said, here our info hour happening next week. You're all invited if you want to know more about DEGIS. I sent you the Eventbrite link. There you can register for the event. It's again on the 6th at 7 p.m. And if there are no many questions, then I would say again, thank you very much for joining us today. And hopefully see you very soon on another DEGIS event, and enjoy your time in Germany.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.